All right. Well, some people still rejecting the notion that President Trump won the election fair and square. More than 3 months later, former Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook saying Russian interference may be to blame for his candidate's loss. Watch.
This is the key. No campaign manager, no candidate should ever sit at a table like this on a news program and say, I don't know, the Russians might have been the reason we lost the election. It's not important whether they were or not. What's important is that it could have been the reason, and that should never happen again.
One day earlier, he echoed those comments with the same sentiment.
The problem is that Vladimir Putin devastates and destroys his enemies. He's been devastating and destroying the Syrian people, and Hillary Clinton spoke out against that. She had the courage to do that, and she paid a price because Vladimir Putin interceded in this election.
If I had a nice enough singing voice, I would recite the words of Frozen for you, Let It Go. But it doesn't seem like he and many Democrats will let this go.
I agree. I don't think they will. I honestly don't know where it goes. I know that's not a great answer, but I don't have a crystal ball. My feeling is that when President Trump and President Putin meet, that will be. That will be something else. I think he's going.
You mean meet where our cameras can see it?
Yeah, exactly. When they have they're going to have their summit.
Yeah.
I know he's going to England, I think, to London in May, I believe, and some members of Parliament are, rejecting his visit there, and they've talked about going to the countryside. I think that'll be anticipated as well. But the Putin/Trump meeting will be arguably
a game changer?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it'll be a game changer or not, but my feeling is when that meeting is established, you can circle it on the calendar.
But just going back to why is that discussion still taking place, Megan?
Because Robbie Mook needs a job, and as long as you don't take responsibility for the fact that you sent Lena Dunham to North Carolina to campaign for you, instead of Bill Clinton, after Bill Clinton told your staff that you should be paying more attention to battleground states, maybe that's your problem. She ran a horrible campaign. There are many questions to talk about with Russia. That's not the point, specifically with him. People like that, you're associated with a losing campaign. The way that she lost this election will be analyzed for decades and decades and decades. She lost arguably an losing election. And again, he needs a job someplace, and the best thing he can do is continue blame shifting someplace else.
I mean, it also doesn't matter. I mean, after how many elections have we watched when Republicans have lost, and afterwards you're sitting there criticizing the other side and saying what President Obama is doing wrong? No one really cares because President Obama won. You can't change the outcome. So I guess that's my point. No matter how much they sit there and talk about what an impact it has, it doesn't change the outcome. He still won. There's no taking it back.
So I often point to what Sandra has said, and I think you're so right about this. It's hard to figure out what Democrats are truly upset about, because are they upset because they lost and they want to point to a reason, or do they legitimately think that the Russians were somehow, the Russian government interfered and hacked, and what we do know to be factual about any of that, are they not concerned more about that? And that would have more of an investigative movement rather than this backbiting. So I'm confused. What are they really upset about? And by the way, extra revenue. We could rent out portions of our homes as safe spaces for these people who just cannot. And I'm joking because I want to live with just my family. But if they can't move forward, then they need to make it purposeful. So what does that look like?
At the moment, so much of this is theoretical, and it's going to stay that way until the Senate gets us some answers or some direction.